You're still watching TVC Breakfast. We now take you to the center of unity where Shamama is standing by for the FCT brief. Esha, good morning. You're still alone? In Akwana, over to you.
In Akwana, good morning, Nigerians, and it's good to be alive on this Tuesday morning. And thanks for joining us on FCT Brief. Now, today we will be looking at a strategic national priority, which is reducing importation through homegrown innovation. As global economic pressure intensifies, Nigeria is looking inward, and one agency standing at the forefront of this transformation is the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI. In recent months, NASENI has accelerated its industrial and technological advancement drive, championing local production, supporting indigenous manufacturers, and pushing for technologies that can replace expensive imports. From renewable energy solutions to advanced engineering equipment, the agency's renewed momentum signals a shift towards self-reliance, job creation, and sustainable national development. To help us get clarity on this initiative and understand the path ahead, we are joined on the program by Khalil Suleiman Halilu, the Executive Vice Chairman and CEO of NASENI. He will be shedding light on the agency's strategies, achievements, and how Nigeria can leverage innovation to strengthen its economy and reduce dependence on foreign products. It's nice to have you join us this morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Let's start this way. NASENI was actually created to help move transition Nigeria from being a consumer nation to a producing nation. And also there's this Innovate Nigeria platform that you just that you're championing. Now help Nigerians to understand how this works. Innovate Nigeria, and how are you pursuing that strategy of making Nigeria a truly producing nation?
Okay, so good morning once again. It's good to be here, with you. Yeah. As you know, NASENI is an agency, specially created to advance research and development as well as production. But before this administration, it has been mainly focused on research. Upon assuming duty, the presidential mandate I received is we need to move this agency into a commercial hub, because there is no point, doing research and development if it doesn't translate into actual product and impact. So we operate on the principles of what we call the TVC: creation, collaboration, and commercialization. So we collaborate with others, including private sector, academia, risk capital, to create products and then commercialize it. And in one of the efforts, like you mentioned, is the Innovate Nigeria project. When we started this whole commercialization movement, we've received a lot of requests or a lot of messages, especially online, where they will say, oh, here is a kid in Ekiti. He has built a generator, you need to support him, to scale it. Or someone has built a bicycle in Jos. So this platform is basically available for young people to key in to help accelerate, whatever that they are building. So we're basically bringing them into the ecosystem we've built, which is matured and scaling, to give them the right kind of support, across board, from mentorship to financial support, to technical support. Because it is one thing to build, a small bicycle or in your bedroom or in your workshop, but it's another thing to scale it on a multiple numbers and be able to even export.
Yeah. So, now, what has been the response? Like you just talked about the creative mindset that are bound out there. You go to every part of this country. You have kids, you have youths that are into creative activities. What has been the support like? Well, do you have these people coming out and to display their skills, and also this 250 million naira innovation challenge that you introduce? How does a child get qualified to participate on this platform and with the fund that is available out there?
Okay, so first of all, we make it an open challenge. Okay. State by state, to give everybody a fair advantage. So we'll be receiving response, but we would like to have more of that response, because for the first time, this is going to be the biggest innovation challenge in West Africa. So we want to see more. We have a lot of applications, but Nigeria is a big country, and we would like to see more and more applications. Sometimes people put pressure, and once the platform is ready, the response, should blow up. We have reasonable applications, but we would love to see more. And one thing we're doing is we wrote to all the state governors to give us a counterpart person that will coordinate activities, from various states. Nigeria being big, different states will have different kind of innovations. In the north, you begin to see a lot of agriculture. In the east, you see a lot of electronics, and so on. So, and like the grand prize you mentioned of 250 million naira, that is just a token, because what you get, from being in our ecosystem is much more than that amount of money. You begin to sit with industry leaders that have done this in the past. Mentorship has no price. You also be able to leverage our industries. We have one of the biggest, or the biggest CNC collection in West Africa. You can get access to that to be able to create products, in a factory like that. And so many new innovations that we've done technology transfer, from other parts of the world, it also exposes you. And one thing I always tell innovators, especially in Nigeria, the world is now flat. You see Chinese product coming to beat you locally. So if you don't wake up and understand that you are not just building for Nigeria, you have to build with the least Africa in mind, to be able to scale.
Now let's understand further. This 215 million, you say is the grand prize. Is the grand prize meant for a particular innovator or several innovators to draw from this pool?
This for a particular innovator. The bucket is about 500 million, in different at different stages. Yes. Okay. But don't forget, we're also going to support them with logistics, accommodation, and so many other things during the course of the program. While the money is attractive, but what you get at the end of it, even if you don't win the mentorship, you get the most sophisticated machines, latest in the world, to be able to touch around, play with. It's eye-opening.
Now let's assume we have this young innovator that is out there in the remote area where he has no access to IT, has no access to the internet. But people in his local community know that this man, this lady is highly creative. How are you pushing out the idea to just go beyond? The state government. A lot of time people might want to make it a political tool. I guess it's not a political tool. It's meant for Nigeria, not politics.
Yes.
Okay. So how are you driving it beyond the political platform? That beyond those governors, are the private sectors also keen into it to help attract the youths that can participate with innovations? Definitely.
So we're setting up a fund, and part of the contributors are private sector. Okay. Definitely, they are not going to contribute to your bucket and then just keep quiet. They have a say. They also have influence on how these resources are going to be utilized. And when I say resources, it's not just money. Spending an hour on some sophisticated lab equipment, is priceless. Being in the room with some of the key industry leaders, is priceless. Personally, I've experienced this because if you see a lot of our activities in NASENI, we have quite a lot, not just Innovate Nigeria. We have the ones for secondary school children, at different stages of
different categories.
Yes, you need to encourage people. There was one team that I was mentoring, and they ghosted me. We had second meeting. And then I haven't heard from them for about 4 months. Then maybe a few weeks ago, they got back to me. They said, one of the ideas I gave them, they've actually implemented. They even gotten money. That's why I haven't heard from them. So that is, heartwarming, to hear things like that. And their lives will never be the same. Exactly. But it's just 30 minutes you spend with them, give them a few advices. Because sometimes when you are building things, you are too focused on the engineering aspect. You forget the other elements like the economics, the business development.
It's a value chain.
So it's a value chain. Yeah. So we try to bring all sorts of mentors, to help these young people and so on. And very soon we'll also launch an innovation challenge amongst the civil servants in the country. Because one thing we've realized is, you said young people, but these civil servants, they might have, you know, some of the brightest ideas, but they are always the ones preparing this, you know, challenges, but they are left out. So we said, no, we have to do something different. So let's see how much creativity.
I like this particular idea about the civil servant. I'd like you to talk more. Why did you start thinking about bringing in the civil servants? Because oftentimes people talk about the private sector. Nobody really look at this public sector that is vital to the growth of every economy. How did you come about thinking about how to bring in the civil servants?
Well, to begin with, nobody has monopoly of ideas. You know, and if you worked, you know, I was in the private sector, then moved into the public sector. And I've come to realize that people in the public sector are one of the smartest people you can have in the country. They've seen it all. They've seen multiple administrations. They've seen wins. They've seen failures. So someone like that, you know, you shouldn't take for granted. Oftentimes, you know, some have been very tired. You see, you fall back on them that, okay, what happened in 1980? What went wrong? And they'll be able to walk you through. So in terms of that fusion between private sector and public sector, they have historical knowledge, you know, of what projects have went right, and you know, the ones that have failed. And why don't you give them a chance? Why not?
Let's look at this aspect. The Nigerians in the diaspora, is it also open to them, or are you just thinking about Nigerians that are within the country? Are you thinking about those that are outside and have creative ideas? You're going to welcome them into this pool also?
Yes. So recently, Mr. President approved part of our act. There's what we call the volunteer network. So he approved for us to build a national, the largest volunteer network. And in one of my outings recently, you see that I visited NIDCOM, which is Nigeria and Diaspora Commission. We're currently building a framework. And if there's anything Nigeria should leverage as a country, is our diaspora. Because our diasporas don't travel out and take a back seat. You know, we take forefront. We are very, I wouldn't say aggressive,
go-getter.
You know, but we are go-getters. They said Nigerians make Scandinavians look lazy. So you have someone that probably swam, you know, to Europe, really hardworking, you know, and doing great in other countries. Why don't you, you know, bring them back home? And we're also working on a framework because there's what you call the cultural shock. You know, I'm sure you have friends, whenever they come back with new accent, it's, why isn't this working? Why isn't that, you know? So how do you blend their ideas, you know, to localize it? Because if you don't domesticate things in Nigeria, you might as well forget about it.
Now, let's look at the Abuja Technology Village and the upcoming $150 million lithium ion battery factory. Now, it suggests that NASENI, not just being a government agency, it's also a big player in the markets. Now, tell us about this technology village.
Okay, so I've been thankful to FCT Minister. He gave us a very massive land, you know, in support of our projects. And what we're building there is an industrial park. We've built a couple, you know, in Edu. Probably when you're landing on the, you know, from into Abuja, there are so many, you see some warehouses on your left. Those are, you know, NASENI warehouses where we produce batteries. But in different outings we've done, you know, some with the president, some with the vice president around the world, shopping for investors. We need a bigger space. We have some in Ogun, we have some in Lagos, we have some upcoming in Kano, but we're not at the heart of the country, you know. So we're building factories. We recently gotten the papers, started to do, you know, civil work, and we want to accelerate to see what products are competitive enough to be produced in Abuja, and then we can distribute them to other parts of the country.
So the industrial park, will these innovators you are incubating also eventually be able to be players in that, or strength we scale them out?
Definitely. So part of our ecosystem, you know, there is the different growth steps. First, you get people from different programs like Innovate Nigeria, first getting them into your ecosystem.
Okay.
And you know we have about 12 institutes at NASENI, some focused on agriculture, some focused on hydraulics, so they'll be able to see which of the institutes they can go and test, their ideas. And recently the FEC approved one of our projects called NASENI Campus. So think of it as an MIT campus where you have various floors, wet lab, dry lab, fabrication lab, where you can go and test your ideas and bring out prototypes, while making them into the real world. So once that is clear, the next thing is to build factory, and you have an option whether you want to host with us or you go on your own. Okay. What we want essentially is your ideas should not be sleeping. You should wake up and and drive them, to help give a dent, especially around imports into the country. So the whole value chain is there, and you can choose where you want to play. But definitely, if you partner with us, you get added advantage. We've done a rebranding. NASENI has a good brand, and I can tell you, if you take our products and put it side by side, with other products, the quality is there. And we also want to patronize something that government has invested in, so that taxpayers' money is not going at waste.
Yeah, one critical thing people talk about is when you say something is produced in Nigeria, the average mindset is of low quality. And a lot of time we can't really play in the global market because of that wrong label. So what are you doing, your agency doing, probably in collaboration with the standard organization and all other regulatory agencies, to ensure that, look, we don't just produce, but whatever we produce can compete in the global market? Is that synergy?
Yes, definitely there is the synergy. We work with regulatory environments. But if you notice, there has been a recent buzz on people proudly wanting to patronize African things. I think, from the clothes we wear, our music has done really great. Dirty December is coming up. Now you check flights. I have a relative that was coming from the US. He said the flights have tripled, So the narrative is definitely going to change. Our population is rapidly increasing. We have a lot of diasporas, and it's beginning to change. I'm not sure they will say our music is of low quality and or our coconut chips and all the yaji that people ask you to bring, So it's gradual. And when you play on a global stage, you need to understand what is your strength. What are you bringing to the table? We've seen so many international players coming into Nigeria, and rather than building a whole new company, they leverage on local companies. We've seen the likes of Moneypoint, Paystack, you name them, Dangote, Bua, and so many. So sometimes little negativity, we shouldn't put so much attention to it, but rather focus on the positive so that we encourage the younger ones to build more things.
Earlier you talked about partnership. What is the foreign investment climate like? Are you attracting foreign investors? And at the moment, do you have huge participation so that it's not just a government-driven stuff?
Definitely. To understand how we work is most of our money, about 80% of our budget, is counterpart funding. So we don't spend it unless someone brings, And if, the government, the Mr. President is gracious enough to give me double my budget, I'll be more than happy to receive. And because there are so many people queued up wanting to partner with us. And in manufacturing, there are two things that are key in making decision on where to situate a factory: proximity to raw material or proximity to market. In Nigeria, you have both. Europe population is declining. I think the population, I was seeing a data yesterday, the population increase in Nigeria alone is more than the whole of Europe, in the past year. So, and people are seeing what's happening. So why don't you bring a factory? The least you can do is have an assembly plant in Nigeria.
Okay. Let's look at the aspect of job creation, because apart from somebody coming in as an innovator and they're pulling their strength, how is the idea and the NASENI vision helping to accelerate job creation in Nigeria?
So one of the areas of strength, in fact, is is the top we've identified is our human capital. We have very smart people, young, and also one of the most vibrant youths in the world. And our population ratio, young and old, is quite qualitative. So in fact, it is one of the things that attract people the most to come to Nigeria. And our labor cost is very competitive. It used to be Asia, but now it's Africa in terms of how much you pay with wages. And if you look at the geographical situation, positioning of Africa and Nigeria is somewhat in the middle of the world. So it helps for distribution. Countries like Singapore, one of the key drivers of their economy was assembly of printers, because printers have so many different parts coming from different parts of the world. And Singapore has a port, particularly HP, where they bring all the components, assemble, and then redistribute back into the world. So definitely, in terms of job creation, we have that as an advantage, and we constantly look to leverage that.
Okay, let's give like a 5 to 10 years vision with you driving this innovation in NASENI and in helping Nigeria to become a producing nation. Where do you see Nigeria in about 5-10 years with pursuing these ideas that you have?
Well, Nigeria will definitely be a global player, not just producing for the country's consumption, but for producing for export as well. I've had stories of some refineries in other parts of the world shutting down because of Dangote refinery, and this is the kind of things we want to replicate. We've had so many situations where there are factories in other parts of the world, and their primary target market is Nigeria. So why don't we give them a better leverage to come down here and build factories? We've done a case study. Today, if you go to our office, right next to it, we build a factory that does rapid diagnostic kits. And this factory can account for about 80% of Nigeria's market. But prior to that, they were in Turkey. We went down there to convince them that, see, you need to come here. We'll give you all the support, the land, the human resources, the building. All you need to do is decouple your machine and bring it down here. And that's exactly, what happened. Within 4 months, the machines were on ground, and we rapidly built up, the factory. So we need to have more of that, but not just looking at the Nigerian market, but leveraging the entire world.
And one other thing that is key, because you might have these wonderful ideas, you want to turn around the economy, and if the curriculum in our education does not synchronize with the idea, you might not be able to go the long haul. It might just be a sprint, and we really want it to be like a marathon. Now, how would you want the curriculum to be tweaked? Because oftentimes we'll say, okay, 60% science, 40%, but it's just in the papers. So how can we retweak our educational curriculum to really ensure that from primary, secondary, tertiary level, we imbibe this culture, so that it just be that natural climb?
So one of the ways we help bridge that gap is by having good relationship with the education player sector. Don't forget, we have a lot of academias. Almost everybody at that director level in NASENI is prof who, and that. But you will see we've had so many projects situated in institutions. For example, today, if you go to Bayero University, Kano, we're building Sustainable and Emerging Technology Institute. In Abuja, we're building one of the first, tissue culture lab in West Africa. And the whole essence is, minus factories that we're building outside, that we need to bring it to the academia. Because it has been proven all over the world that if you need to have reasonable development, you need to work together with academia.
Exactly.
So why don't we build factories right in those premises, so they can do research, come and test it, look at our products and improve it, and that trickles back You know, like I told you, we have several programs from secondary school, and even people that don't have formal education. Where we have the NASENI Innovation Hub, where you can give them a crash course on accounting and, you know, few other things to be able to bring them up to speed. So collaboration with those, and once people you tell a good story, people see, okay, here is someone that has worked with us and is able to produce product, and here is his factory and is doing well. People will begin to change their minds to take their kids to STEM-based educations, you know, and the likes, where we'll also duplicate the efforts.
You want to talk to us on this, the Innovation Hub, the Innovate Nigeria, and the entry? Or what is it like? You want to put figures to it? Like, how many have you received so far from Nigerians, and has it wowed you, or you still expect more entries to come in?
So, to explain to you the structure, we have the Innovation Hub. That is the mother of all the different ideas that we have. They are the ones that wake up and say, okay, we need to do Innovate Nigeria. We've been seeing a lot of buzz happening in the country where people want to support young innovators. So we bring that. There's the one we call Future Makers. That's the one for secondary school. He said, okay, like we did a program called Developing Engineering Leaders Through Her, focus on women. Okay. And during that program, a lot of secondary school wanted to participate. So we brought them like an excursion, but they were mounting pressure. So we built Future Makers, you know, which will be launched later this week, you know, for that. So essentially, what we're doing is having that ecosystem, you know, that will be dropping different programs that will help support and accelerate. And back to your question with regards to Innovate Nigeria, on an average, we receive 4 applications per state. But personally, I feel it's not enough, you know, because whatever someone is sending, there will be a story, someone has created an engine in Jos. And my friends, people that know me will be, you know, trooping with so many messages from WhatsApp to Facebook, you know. So I expect the same kind of energy, you know. So we're calling on more people to apply for this program. We've sent letters to governors, reminders. We're also doing radio programs.
The application is online.
It's online. It's online.
Where will they go to?
On our website, innovate.naseni.gov.ng.
Innovate.naseni.gov.ng. Khalil, Halilu, it's been wonderful sharing your thoughts with us on this particular platform.
Thank you very much.
So much. And that is all we can take on this particular edition of our FCT Brief. Now we'll hand you back to our colleague in Lagos for the continuation of this program. Just stay with us.
Right. Thank you so much, Ashomamo. Really fantastic interview there. Thank you.